Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult. Welcome to Working Interferences with Josh and Lance, the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Josh and Lance.
Raz, what is up? Welcome to the Working Interferences podcast, a dental advice show. I'm Joshua Austin.
And I am Lance Timmerman.
Lance, it's an old-fashioned glow-up. You know what a glow-up is? I guess it can't really be an old-fashioned glow-up because that's a new term.
Explain this to me.
Do you know what a glow-up is?
No.
Let me get like a real definition because I don't want to mess it up. I mean, I can explain it, but I don't want to foul it up. So, a glow-up is a word that kids use.
Yeah. See, I shake my fist at clouds, so
yeah, I thought maybe your kids might have.
They probably said it, and I just didn't even know what they meant.
So from Urban Dictionary, a glow-up is a mental, physical, or emotional transformation for the better. Glow-ups can be both natural or planned, as well as being gradual and permanent or fast and temporary. So like this is a big trope in like 90s teen movies, also 80s teen movies. You know how like there's always a teen movie where they make a bet to go out with like an ugly chick, right?
Right.
And the ugly chick is always actually really hot, but just has on glasses and has like her hair in a ponytail. And then there's the scene where she like takes off her glasses and like lets her hair down. It's like, oh, she's really hot.
Like
actually,
Rachel Lee Cook in what was?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
she's all that is exactly sort of that trope.
Gotcha.
So that would be like a glow up, like when she shows up at the dance and everyone's like, wow, she used to be a nerd. She looks amazing.
So Pygmalion.
Meanwhile, she was just a smoking hot, like just as hot with glasses on as she was without.
Audrey Hepburn, My Fair Lady. Yeah. Okay.
So we've got a glow up on our hands, Lance.
Okay.
Our good friend COVID is just glowing up.
Okay.
Back, transformed, better than ever, wreaking havoc on everything again.
Okay. I see where you're going now. No, I don't.
It's just so our great governor, one of the great governors, Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
Has COVID.
All right. So it's my cousin.
So your cousin does too?
Yeah, he's in the ICU.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh, he's going to be fine.
Okay. Are you sure?
I don't know. Clint and I are texting each other as our family's freaking out. I'm like, am I bad because I'm assuming everybody's getting all hysterical and unless he dies, I'm going to go, told you. And then I'm going to feel bad if he actually dies.
Well, I mean,
well, they're like, oh my God, his oxygen he was a 93. I'm like, yeah.
I don't think the point is just like, not dying. I think like having to spend time in ICU and racking up the bills and the stress and all of that. Like
he's miserable, and they flew him to Montana because they couldn't take care of him in Oregon.
That's bad. That's bad. That's a bad glow up that we're having right now.
It's not a good thing.
It's not good. That's the thing. Like, you know, the cases don't. I don't want to say don't bother me. That's not the right term, but I'm not as concerned.
Yeah.
It's that it's just all these people getting hospitalized. That's the thing. And then the other thing about it is like, because we have these fucking people who won't get a vaccine at the hospital, if something shitty happens to you, if you fall down the stairs tomorrow, there's like, all right, well, maybe we can get you in, maybe we can't, because we've got all these fucking vaccine science deniers here. Here's my deal. If I'm the doorman,
what's the deal?
If I'm wearing a black turtleneck, standing outside the hospital by the velvet rope, you know, there's a line of people to get in.
All right.
If you didn't get a vaccine, go the fuck home.
Right.
Go the fuck home.
Yeah.
Medicine wasn't good enough for you then. It's not good enough for you now. Go try some essential oils. Get the fuck out of here. Now, if you were vaccinated and you're sick and you need to come in and go, get a ventilator or whatever, right this way. The velvet rope opens, just like a hot chick.
Yep, you did everything you could.
You're in the club.
And it didn't work out, so we'll help you out.
You fucked around and didn't get a vaccine, go the fuck home. Take care of your own self there.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm not a physician? Because that's like if I were a hospital administrator, that's what I do.
I'm pretty sure that's anti-Hippocratic oath. So, yeah, that's why I'm not a physician either.
Yeah, I gave you every fucking opportunity. The vaccine was free at the airport. The vaccine was free at the fucking Alamo Dome.
Right.
The vaccine was free at Walgreens and CVS and every other fucking place on earth. Every time you went to the grocery store, all you had to do is go one aisle over to the fucking pharmacy and get a vaccine. Any number of times you were filling up your goddamn cart with Oreos and ice cream and all the other bullshit. Your fucking Natty Lights and your Natter Days. You couldn't have ventured over there and gotten a fucking vaccine. You didn't get it, go fuck yourself. Go home, die in your fucking bed.
There you go.
Not our bed. Not the county's bed.
Right.
Not the hospital system's bed. Die in your own fucking bed.
Yeah, it's like that stupid joke years ago where it was raining and the flood was imminent and the guy stays, I'm waiting for God. And then now it starts to flood, so he gets on the second floor and some boat comes by and they're like, and he's like, no, I'm waiting for God. And then he's on his roof and then another boat comes along and now I'm waiting for God. God will save me. And then he dies and he's at the pearly gates and he's like, God, what the fuck? And God's like, I sent you 3 boats. What the fuck's your problem?
You remember when there was only one set of footprints in the sand? That's when I was trying to carry you to get a fucking vaccine.
That sounds familiar.
I just wouldn't treat anybody. If I'm a physician, I'm just not treating you. Didn't get a vaccine?
Yeah.
Fuck yourself. You want to listen to Alex Jones? Here's a pair of fucking AirPods. Put them on in your bed and you die at home listening to Alex Jones.
That's
you
right.
Piece of shit.
Go lick a gay frog.
This was over. This was fucking done.
Yeah.
This was over. We had this motherfucker on its knees, KO'd. So the fucking judge was about to come in and take take COVID's mouthpiece out and whistle the fight dead, whatever they do, whatever the fucking fight judges do.
Yeah.
We won. In June, we fucking won. And then this goddamn Delta variant and these goddamn anti-vaxxers. And Abbott is vaccinated. He was one of the first people to get the vaccine, of course.
Uh-huh.
I seriously hope that he has like a deep ICU stay. I hope he gets really, really sick because he's a huge piece of shit and fuck him. He's all those people who don't like masks and don't like fucking vaccines and all that. That's their guy. It's their fucking guy in his fucking wheelchair, wheeling around, talking about his freedoms. Fuck him. I hope you get sick. I hope you get really fucking sick, Greggy
Okay.
Poo.
Alrighty.
Greg.
The Gregator.
The best Greg. I'm gonna get one of those fucking like horns that are on like a child's bicycle to put on your goddamn wheelchair so you can wheel around the ICU. This was supposed to be over, Lance. This was over.
Well, it's never gonna be over. It's never going away.
Now I'm worrying about fucking IDS. Am I gonna get to be able to go to IDS? Is IDS gonna happen?
I know. I'm a little. Yeah.
I'm worrying about. I'm not really worrying about the ADA meeting. If that one cancels, let's just get off my back.
Yeah, I get it.
Just get on my. That would be a big fucking. The biggest if the ADA SmileCon cancels and you hear like a. That's me. You'll hear it in fucking Seattle.
Okay.
when that happens. That one doesn't bother me, but
Sure.
This if IDS cancels, it'd be my second international. I was supposed to speak in Corsica in 2020.
Oh yeah,
that got canceled. If Cologne gets canceled, me being an international speaker will never happen. If that it's like one of those things where it's just like, like Dan Marino getting to the Super Bowl as a rookie and losing and then never getting back. Like it's like that kind of deal. Like it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I can see that.
God damn it! It's supposed to be over. I went to New York for a lecture over the weekend. I was technically lectured in Jersey City, but it's like literally across the river. So I went to New York I went into the city.
Talk to some people in Manhattan, and Jersey City doesn't count.
No, it's definitely New York adjacent. It is. It's like you can't say you're in New York when you're there. I mean, technically you're not. But
yeah.
if you just went there and like looked across the river at the Freedom Tower, you couldn't say like I visited New York because you technically didn't.
Yeah.
And you also like metaphysically didn't as well. Like the sort of spirit of New York, I think is different when you step foot in Manhattan versus being out in the fucking burbs.
I had Clint when he was in New York going to school. His one of his best friends refused to date a girl because she lived over in Jersey.
I mean, that seems a little extreme.
Nick's a funny guy. I like him.
I mean, these fucking New Yorkers love their city, and that's fine. Like, it's great. It's the greatest fucking city in the world.
Yeah, shout out to Nick St. George. Woohoo!
But I don't think I would like. Oh, dude, she's a dime, man. She's 5'8", 36, 24, 36, perfect proportions. Everything looks great. But, man, she fucking lives in Jersey City. Yeah. Now I'm out. Like, that's kind of one of those, like, I don't get that one. But, I had compiled 4 Michelin stars in 2 nights.
Okay. All right.
So one of the only real cities you can do that in. I mean, there's a few. Okay. You could do it in New York. You can do it in San Francisco. Okay. You can do it in London. You could do it in Paris. I think you could theoretically do it in Amsterdam. There's only a couple of 2 Michelin star places and several 1 Michelin star places. So there's only like a handful of cities where you can knock out, Michelin starred restaurants like that. We ate at Restaurant Daniel, which is
Day Lewis.
Yes, exactly. And he serves everything. It's like he serves a piece of his left foot, which is great. And then he has the milkshake from I Drink Your Milkshake. What was that movie? There Will Be Blood.
Okay. I didn't see it.
You never saw There Will Be Blood?
I did not.
It's worth a watch. It's not like a super rewatchable.
I don't like
none
blood.
of Daniel Day movies. None of Daniel Day-Lewis's movies are super rewatchable. What else was he? Lincoln. So there was a. Did he chop down a cherry tree?
That was Washington.
No, Lincoln was the gay one. That's right. So there was a cream pie at the end. No, there. Daniel Boujon, I believe, is the guy. Boulan, Daniel Boulan.
Boulan. Gotcha.
He was outside. It was hot. It was hot in New York when we were there. So it was hot, but we got there late. We were one of the later seatings, but really good 3-course prefix. And then the next night we ate at Momofuku Ko, which is a David Chang restaurant. 2 Michelin stars, 5-course tasting menu, and then I added a course of the house specialty, which is cold fried chicken, which it's literally just cold fried chicken, but it's the fucking one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life.
Shake and bake?
I don't know. There's no. It was fried like 5 times. It was so fucking good. Okay. It was so good. It was unbelievable. Okay. And then we added on a pizza at the end. I didn't really need the pizza. Had a couple bites of it. It was good. But the 5-course tasting and then that cold fried chicken was just out of this freaking world. So
wow.
Nothing better to me than that. Experiencing those, just the best. You guys have maybe a little bit of that in Seattle, a little bit of the fine dining stuff. We don't have much of it here, where you just get world-class people like that.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Really good. Met a couple listeners at the lecture.
Oh.
Got to see Salerno, which was good.
Nice.
Met Jean McCrossan. She came and sat in the front row, which was fun. Hung out a little bit afterwards and chatted. And then there's a kid who drove like 5 hours to come to the lecture. Yeah, I felt bad.
Yeah, I would too.
I wish I was Frank or Coyce or somebody, like somebody good that you drove 5 hours for. Like, why did you drive 5 hours for?
Someone worth 5 hours? Yeah.
No, I will never have the self-esteem to think that I'm worth somebody driving 5 hours for.
Gotcha.
So I'm honored. I really am.
That's
I'm like,
cool.
hey, have you ever heard of Frank Spear? Like, he's fucking great.
Keep
and
driving.
he's online. You can watch him all online. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was good though. Good. It's shitty travel on the way home, of course.
Of course.
Out of Newark, as always.
It's tradition.
It really is. It's starting back up. I'm hoping. I've got a really tight travel deal next week where I have kind of a complex, lot of moving parts deal, doing 2 gigs in 2 nights, and then having to drive across California to catch a red eye to get home to work, and then record a bunch of stuff on Friday. So,
ouch.
We will see how that goes.
Okay.
So hopefully I got my bad travel luck out of the way last week. We shall see. Hey, Lance, this is an advice show.
Are you sure about that?
No, not at all. We answer your questions. We answer questions we find in all those neat little dental Facebook groups. We answer questions from Reddit. We start to tell dentists and dental team members their own unique brand of advice. So please, we need your questions. They're the sustenance we crave. You can submit your questions to workinginterferences@gmail.com. No, we don't want just any question, do we, Lance?
Fuck no. We
don't want a bunch of boring questions like, what's New York City's best restaurant? Because we all know that Sbarro is the greatest New York restaurant of all time. We want the questions that Gordon Christensen cannot answer. I'd be willing to bet you that Gordon has housed a Sbarro before.
Yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't be terribly shocked.
I think that's a Michael Scott joke. Is like he says, "Let me take you to my favorite New York pizzeria."
Oh, I think you're right.
It's just a Sbarro.
Yeah,
it's so funny. So good. We have an email question today from someone who's not a dentist.
Ooh.
This is from David. David says, "I'm actually a chiropractor, but I'm loving your podcast as I can relate to staffing issues, Lance, crazy patients, all of us." And the neurotic nature of my peers. Again, all of us. Do you think there's a fucking Paul Goodman of chiropractors?
There's got to be.
Like a BAC, a baby age chiropractor?
Probably.
And like just a JCN, just crack necks, something like that? I don't know. As a profession, chiropractics is envious of the way dentistry got people to address problems before crisis and be willing to invest in better appearance. What advice can you give the chiropractic profession to have greater success? P.S. for Song of the Week, I know it's cheesy and cliche, but how about Coldplay, God Put a Smile on Your Face? I don't know that one. Which one is that one? I have to admit, I'm not a big Coldplay guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess we're going to hear it this week.
I guess so.
This is from David. I don't know where David's from. I'll look it up in just a minute. He did give his practice URL, but I don't want to blast that.
Yeah.
And I'll look it up and see where it is, and then we can kind of go from there. So,
okay.
Lance, you've kind of been people talk about the sort of 2000s, the late 90s and early 2000s as kind of the aesthetic dentistry renaissance. Is that the right word? Sort of the golden time for aesthetic dentistry. And I feel like that's kind of the age that this, that's sort of what this came out of, this idea that we, again, diverted people out of crisis mode and then, helped people focus on aesthetics. What, like, do you remember being part of that as you were, you were graduating?
Yeah, I started dental school in 94, finished 98. And from what I gather, I think bonding became predictable in the 80s and it became, the materials kept up or caught up with it in the 90s. And that's when they porcelain veneers, and I think bleaching also had a factor as well, because we just didn't have the bleach shades back then. And then the 90s is when bleaching was really coming in strong. So it seemed like by the time I graduated that the big push was learn how to do your smile makeovers, and there was you had LVI and you had Pack Live and Rosenthal's deal, and those classes always seemed pretty full back then. And then I think reality hit in the 2000s, and so you don't see the big push for aesthetic continuums the way that pushing for implants and rehabilitations and things like that. So I think that's probably right. I think you're right that the 90s is probably the apex moment.
Apex Mountain, as Bill Simmons would say on the
go.
Rewatchables. Apex Mountain for aesthetic dentistry, late 90s. Yeah, I mean, the economy was good.
Yeah.
You had when was Billy D? When was our guy Billy Dorfs? When was Extreme Makeover? That was kind of around that time.
Right around
like 2000, 2001.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have that hitting, and so that the interesting thing about that, like the idea of Extreme Makeover, is that's the opposite of I mean, that's seriously taking somebody in crisis mode. And then seeing them through with ideal treatment all the way, but it's still taking somebody in crisis mode.
Yeah.
Dentistry has always sort of had the every 6 months kind of, that's just kind of been around since, I don't know, what, the 60s probably was when that.
Yeah, Ipana toothpaste. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beaver.
Yeah.
The Beav, who talked about see your dentist.
Yep.
Yeah, see your dentist every 6 months. And that's kind of been in the zeitgeist. I think David here thinks that the grass is greener, probably.
Right.
But we still have a shit ton of people that come to us in full out crisis mode, And even what's crazy is that we have people that are in our recall departments who wait until they're in crisis mode. So it's like, just because they're on regular recall doesn't change the sort of attitude.
Yeah, they're willing to do their free cleaning, but as soon as it's going to cost money, they're going to wait till it hurts or breaks or bleeds yeah.
So there's still a ton of that. Implants, I think, helped to a certain extent because it changes the missing tooth. It changes the full arch terminal dentition people.
Yeah.
It sort of just, it's not a be all end all cure all, but it does make a really nice solution for problems that we didn't always have solutions for.
Right.
So that, I think, was a big part of it. So I don't know if I have advice for getting people out of crisis mode, because that's still, like, I'm deal with people in crisis mode all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Just all the time. I think part of what dentistry is decently good at, and I don't know if this is, part of this I think is, again, like we talked about the tooth, the companies that go along with it, right? We have hygiene companies, Crest, Colgate, all of those that are multi-billion-dollar, multinational corporations, and they have tons of advertising budget that all sort of are always constantly bringing up the idea of new toothpaste, brushing, flossing, interproximal plaque control, Listerine, gingivitis. Like, you can't, like, it's between Sensodyne, GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, Colgate-Palmolive, and Oral-B, like, it just is, they're constantly bombarding the airwaves, and we get to ride off of that, right?
For
and
sure.
So there's not really that analog in the chiropractic world that I feel like I'm not watching TV and being like, hey, don't forget your chiropractor can, like, make you feel good all the time. Like, I don't see that messaging out there, because there's no, like, product that people use on a daily basis that contributes to that, right?
I can't think of anything.
No one like healthy, not in pain, has ever wanted to go to a chiropractor. Like, hey, I feel great. Let me go to a chiropractor.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So somebody has to have a moment of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to. I think the key doesn't need to be like, hey, how do we get, like, young, healthy people to come to the chiropractor? Because that ain't never going to fucking happen. You need, like, what you need to do is spin your people who are in crisis into being dedicated people that come, whatever, I don't know, every couple weeks or every month or whatever it is for their adjustments, to keep them out of pain, right? Like, you got to spin that. You got to take somebody who's in crisis and turn them into, like, a long-term recall maintenance patient, right?
Yeah, because I can't think of, I'm rereading the email and, trying and be willing to invest in better appearance. I mean, is chiropractic, do you look better by going to the chiropractor?
I mean, I guess, like, your posture? Is that a thing?
I guess I would have thought.
Man, look at that guy's posture. I'd suck his dick. Like, I've never heard that before.
I love his gait. Just look at that magical gait.
His gait is so fucking hot. I need his dick in and around my mouth.
If I had a nickel.
Maybe that's the campaign. Maybe you need, like, the American Chiropractic Association to do that. Like, do that. I just, like, have, like, two super hot chicks, like, at a gym.
Uh-huh.
It's like some guy walks by, like, really good looking guy walks by with terrible posture.
Yeah.
It's like, ew. And then, like, an average looking guy walks by with really good posture. Like, just
they mount him right there.
Yeah, you see their Lululemon leggings just get a moist spot right in the middle of them. And then like in that, it's just like the Nickelodeon logo, and just like see your chiropractor just like in that wet spot.
Yeah, I think.
Why don't I work on Madison Avenue, Lance? Why am I not in Addie? I'm like fucking Don Draper. I'm like,
yeah, you're
Barstool Sports meets Don Draper.
Yeah.
He also says, P.S. You can't rant about chiropractors without mentioning the ring dinger. I didn't know what this was. Did you know what this was?
No clue.
A ring dinger. So I Googled it.
Okay. On YouTube?
This is the segment of our show where we Google something we don't know and we read it. It's fucking amazing pod. Amazing pod. Ring dinger is a non-surgical chiropractic spinal decompression, also referred to as a ring dinger. Works by carefully stretching the spine and correcting it to take pressure off the pinched nerves and herniated, bulging, or injured spinal discs, which are gel-like cushions between the bones and holds the spine together. It looks like a patented thing. I'm like, it's got the R after it.
Oh, okay.
So is that a registered trademark? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a registered trademark. So it looks like you have to get special training to go to this. It seems sort of like a pinhole surgery kind of deal.
I'm looking at the YouTube part, and all the thumbnails. They would make Kenny proud.
It's all chicks with massive racks that are laying down on this. But they like wrap a towel. It looks like they wrap a towel. Like it looks like they're about to autoerotically asphyxiate. I guess it wouldn't be autoerotic. That'd be yourself. So it looks like they're in for a session of erotic asphyxiation.
Gotcha.
And then they take this towel that's literally wrapped around someone's neck, and they just yank their head back, like I don't know, caudally, right? Or rostrally.
Right. Gotcha.
Is it rostral?
Yeah,
that's rostral, right?
It is now.
Yeah. Caudal is tail.
Sure.
Isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah.
This is fucking... Welcome to Gross Anatomy. Rostral versus caudal. I got to get this right.
Okay.
Rostral, saying from the line of rostra, means towards the nose.
Gotcha.
Yes, it's not really rostral and caudal.
All I know is looking at some of these chicks, I want to give them a ring dinger for sure. Wait.
It seems to me like at your age, Lunch, you can just do it once.
Oh, if I'm lucky.
You can't. Yeah, you can't just keep going. There's lots of videos, lots of YouTube of compilations.
This is their version of Dr. Pimple Popper.
This is it. We don't have it in dentistry, really.
No.
We don't have this. Like, I know that like the fucking bloody tooth guy was trying to do this kind of stuff, but it's not. It doesn't, like, you don't have a fucking compilation tape, like a fucking and one mixtape of
No.
extracting teeth. Like, it's just something about this, like, chiropractic shit where it's just, like, neck cracking. What's funny is, though, is, like, they do this erotic asphyxiation thing with the towel.
Uh-huh.
And then they, like, take the head and turn it real violently. Which, like, every goddamn action movie that I saw in the 80s would have, that killed every single person.
Right. Yeah.
You remember that move? Like, you could snap someone's neck and they would just instantly die. And it was always like Rocky, you know, like fucking Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, like in Predator. I was watching Time Cop on the plane. Oddly rewatchable. Have you ever seen Time Cop? Have we talked about Time Cop before?
No.
Who's the fucking French guy?
Van Damme?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Mia Sara from
Bueller.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
A couple of like those guys, you know, like you don't know who their name is, like, oh, that guy.
No,
there's a couple of those.
We used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and then the spinoff Angel, and they routinely would kill people by just spinning their neck.
Just snap their neck.
Just snap it. They're dead.
Snap their neck. Oh, the great Ron Silver is in Time Cop, and you got the big that guy is Bruce McGill. That's the big that guy. It's one of those guys that's been in like every fucking movie. It's always an action movie. He's always like the president's advisor or like a general or something like that. Like he's just a that guy. He's just a that guy.
Yeah.
And anyway, like the big bad, like not the big bad. The big bad is Ron Silver, but like the one of like the henchmen that's always after Jean-Claude Van Damme is I don't know, this guy who's dressed ridiculously because he's supposed to be from the future. So of course, like They don't have chinos in the future. They just have these weird like metal pants. It's just it's just also the future is 2004 in the movie. So it's just like it's one of those. And he kills them by doing the neck snap, which it just looks exactly like what these guys are doing in these fucking decompression videos. It's just the exact same thing. And it's just like in action movies, these people died.
Yeah.
Turns out, no, it's just like they just, they pay you to come back for another adjustment. Turns out.
I want in on that action.
You do or don't?
Just I get to twist necks and make them pop and you pay me for it? No overhead?
I mean, that table's got to cost a little something, right?
Okay.
Have you ever been to a chiropractor? Is that a thing you've done?
I have done it, yeah.
Thoughts?
It did relieve. There would be times where things got hurt and I needed some help. It would certainly help.
You were in crisis?
Yeah, I was in crisis. But what was interesting, we got in a car accident later on, and I went to the chiropractor, and when he tried to adjust my neck, it was the worst. I was in way more pain. He was looking at me like I was faking it. And I asked Ollie, is he faking it? And she's like, no, he's like doubled over. So that's when I started having maybe a little distrust in it.
Okay.
And plus,
I'm sure it's just like, if you try to adjust somebody and they're in the wrong, like they're in spasm or whatever, it's probably, you probably shouldn't do that.
Well, and at one point, I hurt my back so bad that we had to actually cancel the day, and I went to the chiropractor, couldn't adjust me because of so much spasm. So I went to a physician and they gave me muscle relaxants. And my understanding is most chiropractors don't like pharmaceuticals of any sort. And so...
Well, they can't... I don't think they are allowed to prescribe, can they?
Right, but they're like anti.
So, of course, they don't like it.
So, after a couple of days of muscle relaxers, finally, that whatever slipped moved back, and I heard an audible pop and then felt a lot better. So...
I think it's probably from just walking around with a massive cock.
It's always been a curse. My nickname in high school was Tripod, and it was always it was my cross to bear.
Theoretically. I mean, it's show me the pile of dead bodies. Like, I've never heard of anybody getting adjusted and and dying on the table because they had, so it's obviously just like, shitty action movies. And I'm sure chiropractors watch, these 80s action movies. You're just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Please, can you stop? I don't see it as much anymore. It really seems like a trope from a 80s, 90s action movie. So it doesn't seem like it's something that pops up as much anymore. But that really was a reliable way to kill somebody in 80s action movies.
Yeah.
So don't do that, our guy. Don't do that, our guy David. Check out Ringdinger videos. There's a lot of chiropractic videos.
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, I'll be spending some time on my Ringdinger.
That's all I need to know. This is an easy question. This is from Reddit user The Last Subject 123. Why are no/short lunch breaks the norm in dentistry? I was speaking to my friend about how I wish my lunch break was longer than 10 minutes, and he was mortified by that. I'm just an assistant, by the way. I kind of shrugged and said, I feel bad because if I take too long to eat while we're slammed, other people can't eat either. I don't think I've ever had a relaxed lunch, let alone one that lasted more than 10 minutes. This is not just me, by the way. The doctors will also eat late at like 4, sneak in a bite while waiting for the Lido to kick in. It just seems like a really shitty thing of an otherwise really nice job. Have I just been in bad practices, or is this the norm?
See, again, this is what I hate when people have a sample size of 2 or 3 and they say that's the way it is in the whole industry. That's bullshit. I've never worked any place where I didn't get a full lunch, and in my own office, I'm strict. We're there at 7, first patient 7:30. We got lunch when we have it scheduled, and I go home at 5:30. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, occasionally, something happens where it's going to affect the lunch, but we will move that lunch hour. It's rare that. I mean, it's so freaking rare. I can't even think the last time we didn't have lunch. So this person, unfortunately, has had a job where they're poorly managed, that they're constantly...
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, because here's the thing. Like, when you're talking about a business that books via appointment, like
right,
right, and that's partly because the effort we need it's a term in the NBA right now, load management.
Okay,
have you heard that term in an NBA standpoint?
Oh,
I'm not talking about like in a Peter North standpoint,
because I'm familiar with load management, but I didn't realize the other usage. So enlighten me.
Yeah. So like the Lakers are playing the Cavs on the second night of a back-to-back.
Okay.
Like LeBron ain't playing the second night.
Gotcha.
You know, like you're playing a shitty team on night 2 of a back-to-back. Like LeBron ain't gonna play.
Gotcha.
They're just gonna call it load management. The Spurs actually started this like way back in the like early 2010s.
Okay.
And so there's like, you want your guys to be ready and healthy for the playoffs. And so you can't, they can't play 48 minutes of, 82 games of 48 minutes. And so you got to give them some days off and things like that. And dentistry's a little of the same way in that stuff is scheduled a certain way because of, like you want your heavier production earlier when you're fresher. And then the end of the day is usually kind of booked tight with things like resins and sealants and deliveries and those sorts of things, right?
Uh-huh.
Sort of heavier stuff, heavier lifting early, and then lighter stuff the rest of the day. And the day's kind of organized that way or organized a particular way, however a doctor likes it, for a reason. And so then you'll appoint a certain way. And so then somebody calls with an emergency, and because of everything's booked the way that it's booked, like, it just becomes a natural fit to put them at lunch. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. This dentist or this assistant's complaining about getting a 10-minute lunch, but like, is she going to complain when she fucking bonuses for the month?
Right.
Because of fitting in a couple extra crowns during lunchtime? Like, she's probably not complaining when that hits the fucking direct deposit, right?
Exactly.
So what would you rather it be? Would you rather have like a full defined set lunch and maybe not bonus and maybe, not have profit sharing or whatever program there is? Or would you rather sit around for an hour twiddling your thumbs?
But it sounds like this is like the norm, that they're always like every day is that way.
Maybe it is. Like if it's a super busy practice, like my thought is always like, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not going anywhere for lunch. I'm not sitting down for an hour. I'm going to, whatever little thing that I brought for lunch, I'm going to eat it in 3 minutes and then like work on fucking payroll or answer my emails or do this or do that. Fill out my lab scripts, all of that shit. Like I'm working during that time. So whether I'm cutting a crown or whether I'm working on admin shit, it's all the same to me.
Right.
Now I do like to make sure that my team gets at least 20 minutes or so to like sit down, whatever. But more often than not, they're able to go somewhere. If they're able to fucking go somewhere, they got plenty of goddamn time.
Right.
And there are times that we end up working through lunch, but I have 2 assistants, and so I can kind of stagger them. And if I ask one of my assistants to work through lunch, I always have my office manager go get her whatever she wants for lunch and put it on my card and bring it back to her, so that whenever we're done with that at 12:45 or whatever, when the other assistant gets back, who had a lunch period and now is going to take the first patient after lunch, then the assistant that worked with me through lunch can eat and I've paid for it, right?
Sure.
But guess who doesn't get to sit and eat and have anything?
That would be you.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking complaining about it because I got to be there anyway. So if I'm going to be there anyway working, like, this is fucking work. Like, let's,
And the
I'm not sitting down.
One risk that they have, though, is if the staff doesn't have the same vision and doesn't agree, you'll probably have staff turnover because...
Yeah, maybe so, but that's where, like, you need to fucking talk about your bonus.
Right.
Because if it's fucking bonus week... That's the thing I can always tell. I can always tell by how packed the schedule is. And I'm like, fuck, don't put that there. Jesus Christ. Like, no, we're so close.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking working for you guys. Yeah. So I think you want it both ways in that, they want lunch and they want to have their time. They also, they want to make bonus for sure. And so it's like, well, you don't get it both ways. the way that, like, what to me, at least what I have found, is what sets an average month apart from a really good month is, like, you get a few of those patients in who have a broken tooth before they're able to go somewhere else, and you fucking put the crown on them. Like, you do that 3 or 4 times in a month, and it makes the month better. Right. And then half of those patients turn into, like, regular patients.
Right.
And there's only one. A lot of times, there's only one fucking place to put those people. Lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've always been we've had this conversation before of just, like, I'd much rather just blow right through it and then just get done, or when, like, the day just goes faster. Like, the last thing I want to do is eat a big meal at lunch. Mm-hmm. It's just, like, drowsy and weighed down the rest of the afternoon. Like, I don't feel good, you know? Like, I just want something light and going. I remember one time I lectured, like, for the residents or something like that, and I was going to work the afternoon, but, like, lectured in the morning for some of the residents, and the director wanted to take me to, like, this big, heavy Italian restaurant at lunch. I'm like, no. I don't even fucking slug the rest of the day, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to get anything done. So, I don't know. I would rather just work through lunch. That's just me. If you give me 5 minutes to, scarf down whatever I brought and take a whiz, like, I'm fine. That's really all I need. Because I'm going to be working on something anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I'm wired different. I must be on the spectrum to a certain degree because I like my day to be exactly the way it was put together.
Oh, I'm with you on that, but, like, if there's somebody calls with a broken tooth, like, I know that's $1,000.
Yeah. The thing is, we can usually squeeze them in elsewhere. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends on your day. I mean, I know, like, a good endodontic practice will usually keep an emergency time open during their day.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. Every patient turned away is $1,500 out of their pocket.
Yeah.
So obviously not every emergency is like that, but there's some that I'm not working through lunch for I've got a sore on my tongue.
Right.
I'm not working through lunch for that. But somebody calls up like, oh, I broke a piece of my molar off. Fuck yeah, come on in.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know if I gotta be there. I would rather spend my handpiece while I'm there. I don't know. That's just my thought. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm fucking evil and whatnot. But no one seems to complain when it's fucking bonus time.
It's a good problem.
No one seems to remember the 10-minute lunches
right
when the bonus hits the bank account.
Yeah.
Let's look at their Reddit history. In the subreddit of Ask Gay Bros, today I learned planning a date without my input and telling me to just show up is a turn on. So I've been talking to a guy for a few weeks. We've been on a few dates where we got food and we pretty much talk every night while playing the occasional video game together. We would generally talk about it and plan out what we wanted to do and then go. He wanted to meet this week as we haven't met in about 2 weeks, but I was just super busy working through lunch. I was editorial on that last. Tonight he asked if I would be free this Saturday. I said, yep, after work. He said, okay, after work, we're going to go to this park where we'll take a boat ride. And that was a beautiful view to the main city. And then we can take a train back and drop you home. I'll bring some food because I know you're starving after work because you didn't get lunch. And then we can get dinner in the city after you're hungry again. That sound good? He's usually never direct like this, so this took me by surprise. But man, it was kind of a massive turn on. I've never had a guy plan out a date beforehand and just tell me to show up, and I didn't think this would be such a turn on, but here we are. Just thought I would share this. I think this is entirely food related. I think this person just has like super fast metabolism and just gets hungry really easily, and it's just like put food in whole, and that's like all it takes. It was like the episode where of Seinfeld where George like got sex and food all turned into like this big. You remember that one?
No.
He was like eating in bed. He like have like a big like meatball hoagie while he was going down on a girl. Do you not remember this?
I don't.
And he like Jerry called him Caligula because he like turned in food and sex all into like one big like he blurred all the lines between the two.
Okay.
And it's kind of it seems like what's happened here. It's just like the weight of this dude's heart, like whatever his love language is like. It's just fucking food. Okay. It's just food. Because all of this is just food related. And like not having to pick the food, just like tacos showing up and not, like... I wouldn't say that's a huge turn on for me.
No. I mean, I enjoy food. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, I fucking rock hard. This guy brought me tacos.
What? Another Michelin star? Doing.
Yeah, exactly. Does it, no, this is in subreddit, no stupid questions. Does it actually matter if you put something recyclable in the trash? So I accidentally put my Chipotle lid in the fucking food, man, in the trash instead of the recycle bag, and my parents freaked out. I generally don't see a moment where sanitation workers will sift through my trash, see that I threw something out that belongs in recycling, and fine me. Does this actually happen? It has nothing to do with being fined, I don't think, right?
They can't fine you.
It just has to do with, like, doing the right thing.
Right.
And the effect that it has on our planet.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read. This is no stupid questions. How do dates/relationships work?
I mean, are you 12?
Are Disney movies too complex for their intended audience?
No, that's the magic of Disney. It's actually two audiences. They can appeal to the parent and the kid. And
that's definitely true of Pixar, for sure.
Yeah.
Pixar is like the king of putting the jokes in that the kids don't get that's for the parents. That is absolutely a Pixar thing. And I mean, technically, Dixar is Dixar.
Little Freudian slip there, dude.
Yeah. Is that the title of the episode? Dixar?
It is now. Dixar what?
I know that technically Pixar is Disney, but not all Disney is Pixar.
True. I'll accept that.
A lot of relationship stuff. How were live-in maid and butlers compensated? So I'm going to assume they were paid in money. If their entire lives were spent serving the family, where did they spend it if they had no free time? Did they just save up for a few years and leave the position to spend their savings? I seem to recall we spent some time many episodes ago speaking about Mr. Belvedere.
I do remember his balls.
And that he sat on his own balls. The actor who played Mr. Belvedere sat on his own balls, and then I had to take a week off of shooting. So that's really it's about all I know about butlers and live-in maids.
Yeah. What about Alice on the Brady Bunch? She didn't seem to be too hard up.
Wasn't she fucking the butcher?
Yeah, Sam the Butcher.
Sam?
Yeah.
That lady lived in San Antonio. I forget her name.
Ambi Davis.
Yeah, that's right. Ambi Davis in her later years moved to San Antonio, and she lived in like some kind of religious nut facility.
Really? Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yep. You never saw her again after the Brady Bunch, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm pretty sure she left acting and joined up with these, whatever they were. I don't know. They were some kind of commune, something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But you see her around at the grocery store every once in a while.
Nice.
Still look the same. Still look like Alice, just, 20 years older. Here's a good one. This is from the same person in the subreddit of Dental Assistant, which is not a subreddit I ever want to go to.
No.
Dentist has COVID, smiley face. This is from 9 months ago.
Won't give me lunch. She's now caught COVID.
This puts us in December, right?
Okay.
9 months ago.
Okay.
PPE, KN95 with ASTM level 3 mask covering it, glasses, face shield, hairnet, shoe covers, the disposable gown that we reuse and just spray with Cavicide. We take our temps and screen each patient. Let's be real, it's pretty useless. But as her assistant, I'm pretty close proximity with her when working with a patient, since she basically uses me as a hand rest retractor. Also, we don't have the giant vacuum. If someone could please tell me the name, that'd be nice. Only the hygiene does. In addition, that fucking vacuum doesn't do anything.
It's worthless.
In addition, as of a month ago, the AC stopped working, so I'm not sure if that's another form of ventilation that helps get rid of aerosols. I do think that's probably not great. But all these things are now popping into my head and making me wonder if our office is unsafe. No, listen to that PPE. KN95 with ASTM level 3 mask covering it, glasses, face shield, hairnet, shoe covers, and disposable gown. The fuck else do you want?
A negative pressure room.
The thing that pisses me off the most is the fact that she Hasn't been feeling well since last Thursday. 5 days ago, she pays us fucking minimum wage and treats us like shit. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
So really, you would think that the minimum you would do is just tell us if you think you might have COVID. Thanks, boss. I live with my parents. I recently saw my boyfriend, and I'm just scared I might kill them. Stay safe, people. This is all about money.
Yeah.
This is all about money. Just go get another fucking job somewhere.
Yeah. You don't like it? It's not safe. They don't give you lunch. Go.
Yeah.
I mean, especially right now, the environment for finding a job like that, it's.
But don't you can accuse her of being a cheap ass and paying you minimum wage and working you through lunch and not bonusing you out or whatever. But you can't accuse her of not making it safe for you because you have every fucking thing that you can imagine. It'd be great if the AC worked, but maybe this was in December. This was maybe I don't know where this is, but in December maybe there's a lot of places in this country that don't run the AC in December, so it's not that big of a deal. So you can't accuse her of making you unsafe.
No, doing everything she can, and
right. You can accuse her of being cheap.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Probably,
and if she's paying you minimum wage, she is.
Yeah. It's empirical data there that she's cheap.
But she is not making you unsafe. She's given you everything that you possibly need.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, even in December, I need more than just I have a small sniffle to go get tested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I need a small sniffle and run a fever and three other, one other thing.
And
or,
taste. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not waking up and being like, oh, fuck. I slept on my shoulder wrong. I'm going to go get tested.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't like the gist of that.
No, not a fan.
Accuse your boss of being cheap. Totally fine.
Yep.
Absolutely, you should be paying you more than minimum wage. Tell your boss you don't want to work through lunch. That's fine. That's fine. If somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, can we make sure the schedule has it? I really need 20 minutes to just sit down." Cool.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen.
For sure.
I'll make it happen. There's got to be, there's a way to like you said, layer emergencies or whatever and whatnot. But I don't know. I just feel like it's just I'm just pissed at my boss because they're not paying me enough. That's what all that comes from.
I think you're right.
Lance, it's gonna about do it for us tonight, I think.
Sounds about right.
Whose turn is it for a song?
Are we doing the Coldplay one or?
Oh yeah, we're doing that Coldplay one. This better be good.
Yeah, fuck you. Better be good.
Where are you at on Coldplay?
I won't change the channel. I mean, I enjoy them. I got a couple of their albums on my phone, but not a hater. But I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. What was the album that had clocks on it that came out in 2002?
It was Parachutes or something.
Yeah, that was their first. That was holy shit. These are fucking amazing. And then it's
Rush of Blood to the Head was pretty good too.
Yeah, but it starts to get a little it starts to get away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Parachutes is 2000. I'm in college. That comes out. What is this? And then Cold Rush of Blood to the Head is 2002.
Okay.
That was kind of the real big one.
Yeah.
And then by 2008, where you got Viva La Vida.
Yeah.
And then now they're in 2017, they're doing collabs with chain smokers. And you had X and Y in 2005. That was a decent album.
Yeah.
It kind of falls out the wheels fall off because it turns into goddamn Justin Timberlake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just turns into that kind of overproduced synth. You can't really tell what instrument's being played,
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? That kind of sound. Is that a piano? Right. Is that a synthesizer? What the fuck is that? It sounds like a computer. Just turns into fucking computer music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's not my jam. Obviously, a lot of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
God Put a Smile on Your Face is from that album. I don't know. Oh, I forget what it's fucking called. It is from A Rush of Blood to the Head. It's from 2002.
Okay.
So maybe this is one of their good ones.
Okay.
Maybe this is one of their good ones. Essential albums according to iTunes. According to Apple Music. There's 2 essential Coldplay albums. They're their first 2 albums.
Uh-huh.
Yellow, or Parachutes from 2000 and A Rush of Blood from the Head from 2002. So I think that kind of like, I think we're on the right. We're obviously on the same page as a lot of people in the music space are.
Yep.
And is he still married to Gwyneth Paltrow?
I don't think so.
They get divorced?
I think she had too much candles that she was making. So
Yeah. What would you do if like your fucking wife was like, "Yeah, I'm putting out this candle that smells like my vagina"?
yeah,
You'd like smell it and be like, "Yeah, it smells just like it." Like, what?
yeah. Who's the quality control here? No,
That's a weird position.
Not enough sandalwood here. You gotta. You definitely have a tang that.
I need more like moss. You got some like forest floor.
Yeah, you're more mothball-y. You're missing that acetone.
It's a tough conversation to have. Like, what do you tell? What do you tell your husband? Or what do you tell your wife when she tells you that she's releasing
I got a side gig that smells like my. Yeah, it's got to be awkward.
Does Hallmark make a card that's like it says something like, is there a section of cards like, "I'm sorry that I suggested the wrong ingredients that should go into your vagina scented candle"? Is that a card that Hallmark sells?
I think that's a shoebox greetings one. Yeah,
it seems like a special one.
Yeah.
Like maybe Cathy. You know Cathy?
yeah.
And he's like, "My boyfriend said my vagina candle didn't smell enough like chocolate." Ack. That's me writing a Cathy comic, like an off the top of my head. Freaking roasted that bitch. Welcome to the Zing Zone, Cathy.
Yeah.
Anyway. You have anybody who loves Cathy comics in your life? If so, tell them about the show. That's how we grow the show. One new Cathy reader at a time. Here's another rating. Lance, what's your favorite number?
Big fan of 5.
I love the number 5. 5 ingredients into your wife's vagina smelling candle. 5 editions of the Cathy comic book graphic novel, which I'm assuming exists. Did you know Cathy was married?
I was not aware.
Her husband's name was Irving in the comics.
Oh. That's more than I wanted to know.
Yeah. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. If you're flicking through Podbean, flick 5 stars. Hit us up on the web, workinginferences.com. Hit us up on all the social bullshits. Facebook, Working Inferences with Josh and Lance. Fighting shit for dentists and dental team members. Twitter, @WinterFrences. Instagram, @WinterFrences. Lance can be found on Instagram, @Dear Timmerman DMD. I can be found on Instagram, @Josh Waston ADS. Mash that follow button. Wow, I shouldn't have searched for... I should not have searched for Cathy fan erotica.
Oh.
Cathy fanfic erotica. That was probably not a wise search.
Yeah, now you got to clear your browser history.
Because it does turn out that there is some.
Oh.
And that's, yeah.
Who knew?
Also, Jim Halpert fanfic erotica, if you're ever interested in that.
Okay.
Yeah. The destruction of Pam Beesly. Holy shit. Wow.
Huh.
The internet is literally anything and everything all of the time.
Wow.
Italian Jim's One Night Love Child. From Goodreads. Wow. Holy shit. Enjoy this Coldplay song. It's one of their old ones, so it's probably all right. What is it called again?
I don't know.
Ring-a-ding-ding. Oh, yeah. God put a smile on your face.
Okay.
For Lance Timmerman, I'm Josh Weston. Peace. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Where do we go? Nobody knows. I've gotta say I'm on my way down. God give me style and give me grace. God put a smile upon my face. Where do we go to draw the line? I've gotta say I wasted all your time, honey, honey. Where do I go to fall from grace? God put a smile upon your face, yeah. Now say you're on your way down when God gave you style and gave you grace and put a smile upon your face. Oh yeah. It's as good as mine. It's as good as mine. It's as good as mine. It's good as mine. It's good as mine. say you're on your way down when God gave you style and gave you grace and put a smile upon your face.